Here's one that's going to sell real fast, so somebody needs to move quick. We sold another cue made by Mr. Rick up at the Phillippi Cue Shop in Pasadena, Maryland. Sold in minutes earlier today, and I don't expect this one to last any longer. The other one was a higher price point. These are the toughest kind of cues to get these world-class cue makers to make. Got a nice player here that we are offering exclusively at Crossroad Cues for basically the price of a decent Merry Widow. This cue is made by, again, Mr. Rick up at Phillippi Custom Cues. You guys know the name, you know the reputation. Rick's been gracious enough to give us one of these little LOAs with all the cues that he's been making, or most of them anyway. But what you have here, I'm just going to read off the little cheat sheet, easier than me trying to guesstimate what I'm looking at here, although it's pretty obvious. Look at that Purple Heart going into Ebony. Come on. Ebony forearm with 4 Purple Heart straight points, Purple Heart butt sleeve, Elforyn Joint, Elforyn butt cap. Now what's cool about this, I've been dealing with Rick for years. You guys have heard me brag about how good his work is. His repair work and restoration work is actually so good that I quit referring people. Hint, hint, don't call them. Don't clog them up. We like to get our stuff in and out of there. Now, Rick is a world-class craftsman. Everything he does. And the reason for that, he's been doing it his whole life. This is what you call old school cue making at its finest. Rick is one of the greatest American cue makers ever. His father, of course, the late, great Mr. Richard Phillippi. And then Rick came on with him in the 1980s. So Richard started in the 70s, and then Rick came on as a young boy in the 80s, and it's all he's ever done his whole life. You can ask him how old he is, but it's been a long time. What's cool, though, out of all the cues that I've bought from him, this is literally the first one that I've ever been able to purchase with a 3/8 modified pin. Now, the majority of my personal cues in my collection have that pin, so that's my favorite pin. Now, I have cues that have the 3/8 11, of course, the 5/16 14, the radial, but for whatever the reason, most of my personal cues have that pin, and that's how most of my shafts are. So maybe some of you share in the same type of taste. Although if you get a cue that you really like, it doesn't matter what pin it is, you're going to find a shaft for it, aren't you? But that's a really, really, really good pin right there. A lot of people swear by that pin because of the connection of it, the way that it grips. A lot of great cue makers use that pin. Nice forward balance cue. Now here's one of the reasons why I tell you that this is old school cue making at its finest. Okay, let's get this out of the way. There's Richard's signature right there. Of course, his shop is the iconic and legendary Cue Shop in Pasadena, Maryland. Man, they've made some monster cues. What's great about this, you're getting that same quality that would go into a $5,000 or $10,000 cue right here. I mean, he doesn't skip a step for anybody. Look at that finish. That is some of the greatest finish work that you're going to see. Finish just looks like glass. Look at that as I go through it. That's a tight form fit Spanish bull wrap. Nice, perfect installation. This is going to be somebody's everyday player. I guarantee you that. Look at that, perfectly straight. Purple Heart butt sleeve. No natural material in this cue, so it can be shipped anywhere in the world. If you're watching this video, make sure you send me a message through our website, crossroadcues.com, or you can simply text me. My phone number is on all of our listings, because it's definitely going to sell fast. He is so busy working on other projects, restorations, refinishes. And the cool thing about Rick leaves himself open certain days out of the week. Truth be known, all the locals up in Maryland know that they can go to Pasadena. He'll sit there and change a tip in front of you. He'll put a wrap on in front of you. He'll clean your shaft in front of you. And he builds just spectacular cues. And he works on some of the biggest cues that you can imagine. How about this Purple Heart? Look. Now, Purple Heart has different shades to it. Some is light, some is dark. This is kind of a medium, but take a look at that. And again, the forearm, this is uncored ebony. You're feeling the true hit of the ebony, has a nice natural forward balance. Okay, I'm gonna start off right there in the middle of the wrap. As I go a little bit more forward, look, give you a perspective. There's the middle of the wrap. Okay, watch. There you go. There's your balance point right there, just a little bit. There it is right there. Nice forward balance. What's amazing about this, and this is really, really a testament to his craftsmanship, when you have an uncored cue, okay, or at least the forearm of the cue is uncored, right? You're expecting it to be really, really, really heavy. This is actually a 14.9 to 15 ounce. Really, it's under 15 ounces. 14.9 ounce on the butt. Nice 4 ounce maple shaft, 13 millimeter. The other thing is Rick has a unbelievable stash of old growth maple. Seems like he's got an endless stash. Look at that right there. Nice old growth rings going through it. So there you go. Phillippi custom cue. Of course, comes with that letter right there signed by the cue maker. Somebody needs to jump on this cue because it won't last long. If you're watching this video, just check in with us. If you buy it, it will ship out lightning fast. If you need some financing, we've got financing options on our website, crossroadcues.com.